call this meeting to order with a gavel and all. Welcome to meeting 109 of the House of Commons Standing Committee on Government Operations and Estimates. Pursuant to Standing Order 1083C, to the motion adopted by the committee on Monday, October 17, 2022, the committee is meeting to consider matters related to the ArriveCAN application. As always, a reminder not to have your headphones next to the microphones as it causes feedback and potential injury to our very valued interpreters. Just quickly before we start, like yesterday, Mr. Anthony's lawyer, Mr. Ben Timmons, will be present with his client, but he is not a witness and thus he may not address the committee. The council may be on Zoom call with the witness and they may speak directly to their clients, but not to the committee or committee members. I would note for committee members that they should only question the witness and not speak to or ask questions of the lawyer who is not appearing as a witness. Mr. Anthony, if you do require time to speak to your lawyer, keep your camera on, but just mute yourself and you can just indicate that you will be conferring with him. That's fine. My intent, like yesterday, we will do a 10-minute suspension after the first two rounds, 1 hour about, and then after that, after the second hour, we will do 5-minute suspension. And also my intent as of yesterday is to have our clerk swear in the witness if committee is fine with that. And we'll have our clerk go ahead with that.
Great, Mr. Anthony, email this morning, you have the choice between either a oath or solemn affirmation. Please let me know which one you'd like to proceed with.
An oath, please.
Great. I'll read the text to you, sir, and you may respond. Do you swear that the evidence you shall give on this examination shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, Mr. Barrett? Is there something or?
Yes, sir. Before we proceed, yesterday at the end of the meeting, it was clear that there was an undertaking by the witness to provide documents before 9 a.m. this morning. Mr. Firth had committed to provide us names of who he negotiated with CBSA to write his own contract and the names of government officials who provided the glowing endorsements on his website that he had first undertaken to provide the committee 16 months ago. I'm wondering if you can update the committee on what's been received and when that'll be circulated.
Yes, I've received maybe about 1/3, 25% of the promised information. The clerk has received it. It is going to translation. So hopefully perhaps tomorrow or the day after. The balance of the information promised by 9 a.m. has not. We have a promise from Mr. Firth that the balance will be sent at another email or a separate email, but we haven't released or received it yet. When we do, it will be translated and forwarded to the committee. And actually on that point, I want to bring up just something I promised to get back to the committee yesterday. It was regarding questions put toward the previous witness that were not answered. I want to read just kind of a note directly from our law clerk. Quote, I understand one of the reasons given by the witness for not providing certain answers was that the matter was potentially related to an RCMP investigation. It is up to the committee to decide whether a question should be put to the witness and whether the potential for an actual police investigation is sufficient reason for not answering the question. It's ultimately up to the committee to decide. As mentioned, the House of Commons procedure and practice, a committee can report to the House a situation where a witness refuses to answer its question. So basically, it is up to the committee to decide whether that is a relevant reason not to answer and not for anyone else.
So just Chair, on that, if I may, so information that was asked to the witness yesterday, for example, the testimonials, who provided those testimonials, are you able to tell us if that information has been furnished, even if you can't circulate it?
No, I can't provide this specific information because it hasn't been translated yet.
So you're not able to tell us who was at the table?
Let me double check with the clerk, but I don't think
GC Strategies negotiated their own contract? You can't.
information.
Yeah,
that
I can't
provide
release
all members.
specifics, just that probably about 75% of it has not been received yet.
Understood.
Okay. We are going to go ahead. If you're finished, Mr. Barrett. Mr. Anthony, I will give you the floor for about 5 minutes for your opening statement, please, sir. Go ahead.
This is my second time before the committee, and as you are aware, I've been compelled to testify here today. However, I have always been willing to answer questions from the committee. I understand I have been called to appear to answer questions pertaining to the ArriveCAN study. I will answer all questions for which I have the knowledge to answer as best I can. Please understand that my inability to respond should not be misinterpreted as me not answering the question. I was simply not involved in our federal government contracting processes with Canada Border Services, Canadian Digital Services, Public Health Agency, or Public Health Canada. I have no contacts or relationships within those departments. I have no contact with any clients involved with those departments or contracts other than security for resources. This has been a difficult time for me and my company. My family has also had our personal privacy invaded with images and the address of our home published across the media. We have been suspended from all government contracts, and our subcontractors are not able to work under these existing contracts. My private sector work has dwindled to nothing. This will have an irreparable impact on me and my family's futures. A career I spent 20 years building has been ruined. Aside from the obvious reasons of not wanting to be isolated from one another during our testimony, it's also true that we requested to be in testimony together, as Mr. Firth handled all projects related to COVID and pandemic response. So I have very little to offer as insight into this committee's current work. I was not involved in any of the contracting processes for these projects. My involvement is limited to acting as Chief Security Officer. As CSO, I was responsible for working with resources to obtain required documentation to file their security clearances. This includes getting their fingerprinting and document control numbers completed, setting up each of the resources portals in the OLIS system, and helping them through the process to have their background history checked on. Once submitted, I would verify the information and submit it. For each successful security clearance, I would receive a briefing form, which I would pass along to the resource and notify Mr. Firth, confirming their eligibility for work. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. We'll start with Mr. Barrett, please, for 6 minutes. Go ahead, Mr. Barrett.
Sir, I see that you're in the same lawyer's boardroom as your partner was yesterday. You're with the same legal counsel, is that correct?
Correct.
Are you able to ask your lawyer at what time Mr. Firth will fulfill his promise to this committee to have tabled 100% of the information that we requested by 9 a.m., a time that he agreed to? Can you tell us, maybe confer with your lawyer and get us that answer?
I'm not going to discuss my discussions with my lawyer.
At what time will the information that has been requested by a partner of your company be furnished to this committee?
I'm not aware. I don't know.
You don't know. Well, some of that information was requested 16 months ago, and there was an undertaking made then. And yesterday, I told your partner I didn't believe him, that he would provide it this morning, and he said that that was, of course he'd provide it. That wasn't the case, but he proved me right. Your partner yesterday also said that everybody was lying, except for him and you. Said that the Auditor General was lying, the Procurement Ombudsman, the Globe and Mail, the National Post, even the CBC, Global News, all of us. So he offered no proof to that effect. And while we did offer proof that he lied to this committee, like I just did, when in terms of proof by your partner not having furnished this committee with the evidence that he undertook to by 9 a.m. Do you agree with Mr. Firth that the Auditor General's report is incorrect?
I would refer to his testimony in regards to the numbers that we were able to supply to the Auditor General.
So was the Auditor General's report correct or incorrect in your assessment?
Incorrect.
So the Auditor General of Canada is wrong, and you are right. That's your contention today.
Yes.
If you had the opportunity to see the testimony of your partner yesterday, you'd see why I find that incredibly hard to believe. Because, frankly, it hasn't been credible, your company's testimony to our committee. Last week, government officials announced that files concerning your company, GC Strategies' role and involvement in Justin Trudeau's $60 million Arrive scam have been sent to the RCMP. Now, you've said that your role is a security expert for the company. Which information do you think was sent to the RCMP? Would it be information about forged resumes by your company, involvement in bait and switch procurement, as outlined by the procurement ombudsman, or bid rigging? What's the information that you believe has been forwarded to the RCMP?
I have no idea.
Your partner, Mr. Firth, refused to say who provided testimonials on your website 16 months ago and has failed to provide them this morning. Is your testimony this morning that you are also unaware who provided the testimonials on your website?
Yes, I am unaware of who provided the testimonies.
So you don't know who the Chief Information Officer was of Canada who there's only 6 quotes on your website, and you're saying that you don't know who the Chief Data Officer for the public sector was who provided that?
Yes, that's correct.
You're saying you don't know who the Chief Data Officer for Canada was who provided an endorsement of your company on your website?
Yes, that's correct.
You're saying that the Vice President of a major Crown corporation, who that individual is a mystery to you?
That's correct.
And the senior executive from the Government of Canada, you don't know who that was?
That's correct.
So though your partner appeared at this committee 16 months ago and was asked that very same question, it didn't raise any curiosity in you, and it never came up in conversation. Will you say today that you never discussed that committee appearance and the questions that were asked with your partner? Is that your testimony today under oath?
Can you clarify the question on what? You actually clarify the question for me.
The question is, when your partner came here 16 months ago and was asked that question and said he was going to come back and provide the information to the committee and appeared before a parliamentary committee, I would say it didn't go very well. Is your testimony today that you and he didn't discuss the information that he said he was going to provide back to the committee?
We discuss files and contracts generally, but not specifics.
Are the endorsements on your website fake, like the resumes that were provided in order to win government contracts?
I have no idea.
It seems, sir, that this is just part of the scam that's being perpetrated by your company on the Government of Canada and Canadian taxpayers. We'll have more questions for you.
Thank you, Mr. Barrett. Mr. Sousa, please go ahead for 6 minutes, sir.
Thank you, Chair. Mr. Anthony, have you been approached by any members of this committee before all of this, or any other committee within any elected officials? Has anybody approached you or Christian Firth separately outside of committee?